Hello, guys. Welcome to today's podcast.
Hey, welcome back. If you clicked on this video, I already know something about you. You are someone who refuses to give up on learning English, even on the hard days, and I really respect that.
And today, we are going to talk about something that can completely change the way you learn English. We are going to share the best hacks, the best habits, and one powerful technique called shadowing practice. By the end of this conversation, you will have real tools you can start using today.
Not next week, not next month, today. So please stay with us because this episode is packed with things that actually work. And we're going to be real with you, not just give you the usual advice you've already heard 100 times.
Before we dive in, let me just say this. Between the two of us, we have spent years studying how people successfully learn English. We have seen what works, and we have also seen what does not work. So everything we share today comes from real experience and real results.
Okay, David, let us start with something that most people skip right over, and that is the mindset you need before you even open a textbook or press play on a podcast.
Yes, and this is so important. A lot of English learners think their biggest problem is not knowing enough vocabulary. They think, if I just learn more words, I will become fluent. But honestly, that is not the real problem.
The real problem is that most learners do not fully believe they can do it. They study for a few weeks, they hit a hard day, something doesn't make sense, and that little voice inside their head says, maybe English is just not for me.
And that thought, that one small thought, is the biggest enemy of your progress. Because here's the truth that nobody tells you. Every single person who speaks English fluently today had a hard day. Every one of them felt confused and frustrated at some point.
Absolutely. I remember when I was in the early stages of really pushing my English, there were days where my brain just felt full, like nothing new could go in, and I genuinely thought about stopping.
But you kept going, and that's the entire difference. The people who reach fluency are not necessarily the most talented or the smartest. They're the ones who showed up again the next day, even after a tough day.
So if you're listening to this on a hard day, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not behind. You are not too slow. You are not bad at languages. You are exactly where you need to be right now. And that's okay.
Learning a language takes real time. It is not a race, and there is no finish line you have to reach by a certain date. Every single day that you show up, even for just 10 minutes, you are building something, even on the days it does not feel like it.
And I think that is something beginners especially need to hear, because the early stages of learning English can feel really slow. You put in the effort and you don't always see immediate results, but the progress is happening underneath the surface.
Think of it like planting a seed. You water it every day, and for a while you see nothing. But under the ground, roots are forming. The plant is growing, and one day it breaks through the surface, and you can finally see it.
That is such a good way to put it, and that's exactly what consistent English practice is like. You may not feel fluent tomorrow or next week, but every day you practice, those roots are growing stronger.
Okay, so now let's talk about the habits. Because Sophia, I think a lot of people are working hard, but they're working in the wrong direction, and a small adjustment can make a huge difference.
Exactly, and this is where it gets really interesting. Some habits feel very productive, but are actually slowing you down. And some habits feel almost too simple, but they're the ones that truly work.
So let's start with the very first habit, and this is something that almost every successful English learner has in common. It's called consistency over intensity.
Yes, and this one sounds simple, but most people get it wrong. Consistency over intensity means that studying for 20 minutes every single day is far more powerful than studying for 3 hours on one day and then doing nothing for the rest of the week.
Your brain needs regular exposure to English. It needs to hear it, read it, and practice it again and again before it starts to feel natural. 20 focused minutes every day is how real fluency is built over time.
Think of it like going to the gym. You don't go once, lift the heaviest weights in the room, and then never go back. You go regularly, a little each time, and over months you get stronger. Language learning works the same exact way.
And the good news is, 20 minutes a day is something almost anyone can do. You can do it during your lunch break, before bed, on the bus. You don't need hours and hours every day. You just need to be regular.
All right, let's do our vocabulary section. This is one of my favorite parts. David, what is our first word today?
Our first word is consistent, spelled C-O-N-S-I-S-T-E-N-T. Consistent. It means doing something regularly, in the same way, without stopping or giving up.
Here is a use case example. You could say, she is a very consistent English learner. She practices every day, even when she is tired.
And here is another example. To improve your speaking, you need to be consistent. Even 15 minutes of practice each day will bring big results over time.
I love that word because it is truly the foundation of everything we are talking about today. Being consistent is more powerful than being perfect.
Our second vocabulary word is persistence, spelled P-E-R-S-I-S-T-E-N-C-E. Persistence means continuing to do something even when it is difficult, even when you face problems or feel like stopping.
Example 1. His persistence in learning English paid off. After 1 year of daily practice, he could finally hold a full conversation with a native speaker.
Example 2. Learning English is not always easy, but with persistence, anyone can do it. The hard days are part of the journey, not a reason to stop.
Both of these words are perfect for today because this whole episode is really about being consistent and having persistence, even when things get hard.
Okay, so we have talked about mindset, and we have talked about the habit of consistency. But here's where it gets really exciting, because there is one specific learning technique that when you combine it with daily consistency will supercharge your progress.
And this is the shadowing technique. We mentioned it at the very beginning, and I know some of you have been waiting for this part. So David, can you give us a quick preview before we go deeper in the next section?
Yes, shadowing is a method where you listen to a native speaker and you repeat what they say almost at the same time, like a shadow following behind them. And it does something very special for your brain that traditional study methods simply cannot do.
It trains your mouth, your ears, and your brain all at the same time, and the results are real. People who use shadowing regularly notice a difference in their speaking confidence and their listening skills much faster than people who only study from books.
In the next part of this conversation, we are going to walk you through exactly how to do shadowing practice, step by step, even if you are a complete beginner.
So in the first part, we talked about mindset, about consistency, and we gave you a little preview of shadowing practice. Now it is time to go deep, and I am genuinely excited about this part.
Same here, because shadowing is one of those techniques where once you understand it and you try it, you think, why did nobody teach me this before? It feels like a secret that only the best language learners know about.
So let us explain it properly. Shadowing is when you listen to an English audio, something like a podcast, a short video clip, or even a recorded conversation, and you speak along with it at the same time or just a second behind the speaker.
The goal is not to translate in your head. The goal is to copy the sounds, the rhythm, the speed, and the natural flow of the speaker. You're not thinking about grammar rules. You're just mimicking what you hear as closely as you can.
And this is important. At first, it will feel strange and awkward. You will not be able to keep up. You might mispronounce things. That is completely normal. That feeling of awkwardness is actually a sign that your brain is working hard and growing.
Do not let the awkward feeling stop you. Every fluent English speaker went through that same awkward phase. It's part of the process, and it passes faster than you think.
So, David, let us walk people through how to actually do a shadowing session, step by step, so anyone listening right now can go home and try it tonight.
Absolutely. Step 1. Choose a short audio clip.
Start small, something between 30 seconds and 1 minute long. It could be a part of this podcast, a short YouTube video, or any English audio that's at your level.
And this is key. Choose something that is not too fast and not too slow. You want to be slightly challenged, but not completely lost. Think about it like choosing a book. If every single word is new, it's too hard. If you understand everything easily, it's too easy.
Step 2. Listen to the audio all the way through one time without repeating. Just listen. Pay attention to the rhythm. Notice how the speaker speeds up and slows down. Notice where they pause.
Step 3. Play the audio again, and this time, speak along with it. Don't wait for the speaker to finish. Try to say the words at the same time or just a tiny bit behind them, like a shadow.
Step 4. Do not stop to look up words or fix your pronunciation in the middle. Just keep going. The power of shadowing comes from the continuous flow. If you keep stopping and starting, you break the rhythm and you lose the benefit.
And step 5. After the session, you can go back and look up any words you didn't understand. Write them down, study them, and then do the shadowing exercise again with that new understanding.
And here's a powerful bonus tip. If possible, record yourself while you shadow, then play it back and compare your voice to the original speaker. You'll quickly notice what sounds natural and what needs more work.
That recording tip is so underrated. A lot of learners are afraid to hear their own voice, but your voice recorded and compared to a native speaker is one of the most honest and useful pieces of feedback you can get.
Exactly. And remember, the goal is not to sound exactly like the speaker right away. The goal is to get closer each time. A little better today than yesterday. That is all you need to aim for.
Okay, I want to stop here for a second because I know some of you are listening and thinking, this sounds great, but I do not know if I am good enough to do shadowing. I'm just a beginner.
And I want to address that directly. Shadowing is not just for advanced learners. In fact, beginners benefit from it enormously. It teaches your mouth and your ears to work together from the very early stages.
You do not need to understand every single word to benefit from shadowing. Even copying the sounds and the rhythm, even without perfect comprehension, is training your brain in a way that nothing else can.
And here is something I truly believe. If you do 10 minutes of shadowing practice every day for 30 days, your English will be noticeably different. Your pronunciation will improve, your listening will improve, and you will feel more confident speaking.
30 days, that's all. And look, 30 days sounds like a commitment, but think about where you will be in 30 days if you do not try. You'll be in the exact same place. But if you do try, you could be in a completely different place.
That's the choice every language learner faces. Stay comfortable and stay where you are, or try something new and give yourself the chance to grow. And we believe in you. We genuinely do.
Okay, so shadowing is our #1 technique, but there are other habits that work really well alongside it. And David, I think the next one is something a lot of learners are missing.
Yes, and this one is about what you do with English when you're not actively studying. Because believe it or not, some of the best English learning happens outside of your study sessions.
This habit is called passive immersion. Passive immersion means surrounding yourself with English even when you are not focused on learning. Things like listening to English music while you cook, watching an English show with subtitles while you relax, or having an English podcast playing in the background during your commute.
Now, passive immersion is not a replacement for active study, but it keeps your brain connected to the language throughout the day. It keeps English feeling familiar, not foreign.
And over time, all of that background exposure adds up. Words start to feel natural, phrases start to sound familiar, your brain starts to recognize patterns without you even trying.
There's a concept in language learning called input. Every time you hear or read English, that's input going into your brain. And the more high-quality input you receive, the faster your brain absorbs the language.
All right, vocabulary time. I love this section. David, what is our first word for part 2?
Our first word is immersion. spelled I-M-M-E-R-S-I-O-N. Immersion means surrounding yourself completely with something. In language learning, it means being in an environment where the target language is everywhere around you.
Example 1. The best way to improve your English is through immersion. Watch English videos, listen to English podcasts, and think in English as much as you can.
Example 2. She created an immersion environment at home by changing her phone settings to English and only watching English content on weekends.
Immersion is such a powerful concept. You do not have to live in an English-speaking country to experience it. You can create that environment wherever you are.
Our second word is fluency, spelled F-L-U-E-N-C-Y. Fluency means the ability to speak or write a language smoothly and easily, without having to think too hard about every word.
Example 1. After 2 years of consistent practice, he reached a level of fluency where he could have natural conversations without pausing to translate in his head.
Example 2. Fluency does not mean perfection. It means being able to communicate naturally and confidently, even if you still make small mistakes sometimes.
I think that definition is really freeing for a lot of learners because many people think fluency means 0 mistakes, but it does not. It means flowing communication, and that is something you can absolutely achieve.
You know, Sophia, I think one thing that really holds learners back is comparing themselves to others. They see someone speaking English confidently, and they think, I will never be that good.
And comparison is dangerous because when you compare yourself to someone else, you are comparing your beginning to their middle or their end. You are not seeing all the hard work, all the struggles, all the hard days they went through to get there.
The only comparison that matters is you today versus you yesterday. Are you a little better today than you were yesterday? That is the only question worth asking.
And most of the time, the answer is yes, even if it doesn't feel like it. Even on the hard days, your brain is processing, your ears are adjusting, your confidence is quietly building.
So keep going, keep showing up. The hard days do not mean you are failing. The hard days mean you are growing, and growth is always a little uncomfortable.
That is so well said, and I want everyone listening to really hold on to that. The hard days are not a sign to stop. They are a sign that you are pushing your limits, and that is exactly where the growth happens.
Okay, we are in the final part of today's episode, and I want to make sure we leave you with everything you need to go out and take real action. So let us talk about a few more important habits, and then we'll wrap everything up.
And I also want to give a quick shout out to everyone who has made it this far in the episode. Seriously, the fact that you are still here shows how committed you are to your English journey. That matters. That says a lot about who you are.
Absolutely. And commitment is what separates the people who dream about speaking English from the people who actually do it. So let us keep adding to your toolbox.
Our next habit is speaking practice. And I know what some of you are thinking. I have nobody to practice with. I live in a country where nobody around me speaks English. I'm too shy to speak.
I hear you, and those are real challenges. But here's something that might surprise you. One of the most effective forms of speaking practice is talking to yourself in English.
Yes, talking to yourself. Narrate your day in English. When you wake up in the morning, think in English. When you're making breakfast, describe what you're doing in English. When you're outside, think about what you see and say it in your head or out loud in English.
This might feel silly at first, but this habit is extremely powerful because it forces you to think in English instead of translating from your native language. And thinking in English is one of the biggest milestones in the journey to fluency.
Another form of speaking practice is recording short voice memos or videos of yourself speaking in English. Pick a topic, set a timer for 1 minute, and just talk. You can talk about your day, a book you're reading, a topic from a podcast, anything.
Then, listen back to the recording. Notice where you paused too long, where you struggled for words, where your pronunciation could be clearer. This is honest, private, low-pressure feedback, and it builds confidence faster than almost anything else.
And confidence is huge because a lot of learners actually know more English than they think they do. The problem is not the knowledge. The problem is the fear of using it.
So by speaking more, even alone, even in private, you start to break down that fear. You start to prove to yourself that you can actually do this. And once that confidence starts to build, it keeps building.
Okay, David, let's talk about something important. Let's talk about the mistakes that slow learners down, because sometimes knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do.
The number one mistake I see is trying to learn everything at once. Learners try to study grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation and listening all at the same time, and they end up overwhelmed and burned out.
Focus is so important. Choose one or two things to work on at a time. Maybe this week you focus on shadowing practice for 10 minutes a day. Next week you add vocabulary. Build your routine layer by layer instead of trying to do everything at once.
The second common mistake is giving up too quickly after a hard day or a hard week. Learning a language has natural ups and downs. Some weeks you'll feel like you're flying. Other weeks you'll feel stuck. That's completely normal.
The learners who succeed aren't the ones who never had hard weeks. They're the ones who had hard weeks and kept going anyway. They showed up even when they didn't feel like it.
And the third mistake is focusing too much on perfection. Trying to speak perfect English before you are ready. Trying to understand every single word before you move on. Perfectionism in language learning is actually the enemy of progress.
You learn by making mistakes. You learn by saying something wrong and then hearing the correct version. You learn by not understanding something and then figuring it out. Mistakes are not failures. They are data. They are showing you exactly what to work on next.
Okay, I want to take a moment here and I want you to do something with me. Close your eyes, if you can. If you are driving, please keep them open. But if you can close them, close them.
Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You have been consistent. You have been doing your shadowing practice. You have been speaking English every day, even if just to yourself. You have kept going even on the hard days.
Now, imagine having a conversation in English. A real conversation. Maybe with a colleague. Maybe with someone you meet traveling. Maybe in a job interview. Maybe just watching a show you love in English and understanding everything without needing subtitles.
How does that feel? That version of you is not far away. That version of you is the natural result of the habits and the techniques we talked about today. It is not about talent. It is about showing up every day.
You have everything you need to get there. You have the desire, otherwise you would not be here. You have the tools, because we just gave them to you today. All you need now is the decision to start, and then the persistence to keep going.
And on the days when it is hard, come back to this episode. Come back and let us remind you why you started. Let us remind you that you are capable, because you absolutely are.
All right, let us do our final vocabulary words for today. These are words that connect directly to everything we've been talking about.
Our first word is momentum, spelled M-O-M-E-N-T-U-M. Momentum means the energy or force that keeps something moving forward. Once you have it, it gets easier to keep going.
Example 1. After 30 days of consistent practice, she built real momentum in her English learning. Every day felt easier than the last.
Example 2. Don't break your momentum. Even on busy days, do at least 5 minutes of English practice. Keeping the habit alive is what matters most.
That's such an important concept. Starting is the hardest part, but once you build momentum, Your own progress becomes your motivation.
Our second vocabulary word is breakthrough, spelled breakthrough. A breakthrough means a sudden and important achievement or discovery. In language learning, it's that moment when things suddenly click and feel natural.
Example 1. After months of practice, he had a breakthrough. He realized he was thinking in English without even trying.
Example 2. Do not get discouraged before your breakthrough. Most learners have one big moment where everything starts to come together. Keep going until you reach yours.
I love that word, breakthrough, because it describes exactly what every learner is working toward, and it always comes for the ones who do not give up.
Okay, let us do a quick recap of everything we covered today, because there was a lot of good stuff in this episode.
We talked about mindset first, about how believing in yourself is the foundation of everything, and about how every fluent English speaker had hard days just like you.
We talked about the habit of consistency over intensity. 20 minutes every day beats 3 hours once a week. Regular small practice is how your brain builds language.
We went deep into shadowing practice, listening to a native speaker and speaking along with them to train your mouth, your ears, and your brain at the same time.
We talked about passive immersion, surrounding yourself with English throughout your day, even when you're not actively studying.
We talked about speaking practice, even if it means talking to yourself, and about how recording yourself and listening back is one of the most honest and helpful tools you have.
We talked about the common mistakes, trying to do everything at once, giving up after a hard day, and chasing perfection instead of progress.
And we talked about momentum and breakthroughs, about how the progress is happening even when you can't see it, and how the breakthrough moment comes for everyone who keeps going.
If you take just one thing from today, let it be this. Hard days are part of the journey. They are not a reason to stop. They're proof that you're pushing yourself, and that's exactly what growth looks like.
Now, one thing that a lot of learners struggle with after building these habits is knowing how to have real English conversations and not freeze up or go blank. If that's something you deal with, we have an episode that covers exactly that topic, and we'll link it in the description below.
Check it out after this one. It'll be the perfect next step on your journey. And if this episode helped you today, please share it with one person who's learning English. One share from you could be the motivation someone else needed to keep going.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We're so glad you're here. Keep practicing, keep showing up, and remember, your breakthrough is closer than you think.
Never give up, even on the hard days. We'll see you in the next episode.